Um, as much as I like talking to myself and sharing that with you, um, I think I'll stop doing this for now. I think what I've been doing is involving the external in an internal process. I I think that's legitimate in that one's environment affects one's internal state. It's the conundrum of the real and the unreal. Um, However, I think to actually engage with art on a much finer and more intimate level, one has to pull up the drawbridge, as it were, in one's castle, which is nearly a perpetual state anyway. But to generate a journey or a discovery or a set of parameters that work is psychically about, or to remember the path that you were already on, in an interior world. Um, yeah, it doesn't involve talking on a phone. Um, it's it's more of a talking and listening to another another world, really. You know, imagine imaginal imaginal world, um, and that's what art's about. You know, it's it's a portal of connection to um, narratives and voices and perceptions that um, aren't encoded by our interactions in this realm. So it's a waking dream, co-created waking dream, and it's really not about whether anyone else understands or connects with that. Even it's not about soliciting um, approval or exterior connection. I think a lot of the time and artists generally are probably seeking to reconcile their own unmet needs, from other locked parts of their, frozen developments from tragic childhoods, for example, or even a tragic life situation that they're actually in now. Um, you know, could be ill health, could be poverty, could be violence or fear. Um, I mean, why does anyone seek escape and solace? From an environment. Why does one? Yeah, I mean, beauty, yes. Peace, yes. Blessing, yes. Connection with others, yes. Good, honourable motives for one's creative endeavour. Um, However, if one is actually dealing with wounds and pain, or perhaps even been burdened with other people's wounds and pain, the transference of family um, currents, entities, even through, unconscious rituals that are performed on children, unconsensual burdens of karma, one might say. This is very normal. The transference of um, the mother's low self-esteem onto the daughter, or indeed the shame onto the son, their own, lack of approval and severe judgment and criticism. Children are psychic rubbish bins. As divine beings, they are toxic waste dumps and often made into sacrificial scapegoats to be sacrificed, spiritually speaking, inside families of illness. And I don't think class or pedigree come into it. I think this is a spiritual problem that exists across the board of hierarchy. We are talking about unintentional and intentional child abuse. Let's be clear. And institutionalized child abuse, also known as mind control and fear. So hijacking of the divinity of your inalienable spiritual birthright. And why do I say right? Why is it a right to be divine? Well, because it's self-evident. Is the sun divine? Does it shed its cosmic rays and radioactive warmth on the wet, moist planet to, propagate in the womb of life here? Is that divine? Does divinity exist within a scientific model of knowledge? How do we experience knowledge? Is it integral? How do we know? We know through being, and there's many ways of being. To divest ourselves from the curse of others. To understand that curse as ourselves, and to be able to harvest the curse as one source of power. Perhaps art treads in that perilous dark canyon. Perhaps it has to, because that is the condition that the soul is in. I didn't know I was going to speak this way. I think knowing that there is a soul is that's probably the greatest hope. Because what that's made of is far greater than any illusion that it might find itself in. Cool. Bye-bye.